Welcome back to today's verdict. I'm your host and trial attorney, David Lesch. We have with us today Matthew Bergman, who's going to be bringing an action or has brought an action with respect to some TikTok videos. Matthew, first of all, thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me.
You know, I have a 12-year-old son who watches TikTok all the time, and my wife recently was a little upset with some of the videos she's seen. In particular, what she's read about, you know, the blackout challenge. Tell the viewers a little bit about why you're involved with the blackout challenge and what you're seeking to do, if you could.
Well, just kind of by background, I formed the Social Media Victims Law Center about a year ago in response to the mental health crisis our young people are having as a result significantly from social media addiction and abuse. And since that time, I've spoken to literally thousands of parents whose children have been injured or in many cases killed through social media. And one of the most pernicious aspects of social media are these challenges that are on the TikTok platform. And in particular, the blackout challenge, where children are encouraged to choke themselves to get a euphoria when they release the ligature. But tragically, in many cases, children are unsuccessful and accidentally choke themselves to death.
You know, and I know that I've seen, you know, the Benadryl challenge, the milk crate challenge, the skull breaker challenge. I mean, this is a pattern on TikTok. The legal elements of a case like this, what needs to be proven to hold TikTok accountable?
Well, first of all, you have to prove that that this was not an accident or coincidence, that the challenges are part and parcel of the structure of the product, of the platform, and that they are designed to addict children, and they're designed to provide children with content, not that they want to see, but that they can't look away from, for the express purpose of addicting them and keeping them online. Because when you're online, you are not the customer, you're the product. They're selling your eyes on screen, be you a kid or be you an adult. And so that's the first thing that you have to prove. And then you have to prove that the child had saw the challenge online and that it impacted his behavior. And even after TikTok ostensibly took the challenge offline, children still have ready access to it through other means. And so all of these cases are very difficult. The only certainty we have is that these companies are going to, you know, use everything they have to fight us. They have all the money in the world, but, you know, we really believe that we have justice on our side. And we believe that these parents need to be heard and that these products need to be safer.
In the past, have these cases settled? Has TikTok come up and at least offered monies on the milk crate challenge or Benadryl challenge? Have they tried to offer something on these cases, or do these cases usually have to go to court? What's been happening in the past, these challenges?
Well, this is very new litigation. We really are at the cutting edge of a new thing. So we don't have a pattern or practice yet. You know, we understand that in the past, some cases have been resolved, but everything they're telling us is that it's go to trial. And of course, as a trial lawyer, there's nothing I want more than to talk to a jury about why the profits of this company were more important than the life of this child.
Well, it's, you know, you have a very sympathetic clients here. You're talking about children, basically, and you're talking about a platform that's making money off of advertising. You'd think at some point they should start talking money before you have to try the case. But if you have to try it, you do try it. Where did you bring where'd you bring suit, by the way?
So we brought suit in a number of federal jurisdictions around the country. Those cases are now consolidated in a multi-district litigation in the Northern District of California in front of one federal judge. We've also brought cases in California, state court, and those cases are now consolidated in front of a Superior Court judge in Los Angeles County.
When you're talking about proving the elements of the case, and we were discussing that earlier, and actually proving causation, or at least showing that, you know, the person watched the video and because of that, the injury occurred. How do you do that? How are you able to show that it was a TikTok video and not another video that came from someplace else, or not just a friend who said, try this? How do you do that?
Well, every case is different, and we appropriately have the burden of proof, and we have to prove to a jury that it's more probable than not that the social media platform, in its dangerous design, was a substantial factor in causing the result. And some cases are going to be more clear than others. We have a case where a 16-year-old boy was fed a series of videos from TikTok encouraging him to take his life and jump in front of a train, and he did step in front of a train and passed away. Those cases I think are going to be stronger than other cases where it's not. And the court system is fair. We don't expect to get where we need to go based on sympathy. We're going to have to prove each case one brick at a time, and that's what we do as lawyers.
But you're not really bringing a class action with respect to all these videos. Each case is taken individually. Am I correct? In other words,
that's absolutely correct. Yes.
This isn't a class action against TikTok for algorithm abuse. This is you take them one at a time, correct?
You take them one at a time and you work them up and you try them. And look, I mean, we've all tried a lot of cases. I have the scars to prove it. But we know that if you're not willing to go to trial, these companies are never going to take responsibility.
Who's handling this case or these cases for TikTok? Do they have separate attorneys for each individual action that's being brought, or is it just one general in-house group of attorneys that basically?
The platforms have one or two nationally renowned defense firms that are working for them. They're the largest firms in the United States. They're the most. Their lawyers charge the most per hour money, most per hour rate at any lawyers in the country, and they're very, very good lawyers.
So, what would you say to somebody now? You have a mom who's watching her dad, and you think their child is being influenced in a way that is, really dangerous, and they see dangerous videos on their child's screens. What would you say to them right now? What advice would you give parents now who may have a child who seems to be, for instance, like my wife, who's very nervous about our 12-year-old because we don't know what he's sometimes watching on TikTok? What do you say to a parent who's watching?
First thing I say is lead by example. If you're on their phone all the time, you're not setting a good example for your kid. Make sure that just your kid has interactions with you and as a family, that they engage in sports and outdoor activities and other things unrelated to social media. I think that's kind of over and above what you need to do. The second thing is, and there's something called the Bergen Social Media Addiction Scale. And it's a test that you can take of 6-part questions with different answers to each of the 6 questions. And it will give you a number of scale as to whether your child has a social media addiction. And that's available on our website, socialmediavictims.com. The third thing is you have to be able to talk to your kid and have them be comfortable telling you about the material. And that's not always easy because, teenagers aren't necessarily forthcoming with their parents about information. I think you need to be open with them, and you need to really let your kids know that they're being manipulated.
All right, Matthew Bergman, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks very much. Good stuff. Really important stuff. Maybe you can come back in the next couple of months and tell us how the lawsuit's going.
I'm happy to help, and thank you for taking on this tough issue. You be well.
It's absolutely our pleasure. All right, stay with us. Today's verdict has so much more right after this.